29-year-old Hayley Arceneaux is set to become the youngest American and the first pediatric cancer survivor to travel into space. She's rocketing into orbit on SpaceX's first private flight later this year, and she joins us now. Hayley, tell us about how you found out you've been chosen and have this golden opportunity to go to space.
Golden opportunity is right. So I wasn't part of the selection process. All I know is I got this phone call relatively out of the blue in early January. St. Jude told me they had something to talk to me about, and then they start telling me about this mission and how it's the first all civilian mission to space. And they asked if I wanted to go to space, and immediately I said yes, yes, of course, thank you. And then I thought it would be wise to call my mom. And so I called my mom, and she was just as shocked as I was, but I said, I can't pass this up. And she agreed that I could not pass this up.
You're already such an inspiration to so many. For those who don't know, can you tell us a bit about your story?
Yeah. So I was 10 years old, very active. I actually had just gotten my black belt in Taekwondo. And I started having pain in my left leg, which they thought was from the Taekwondo, but it got worse. I started limping, and then my mom noticed a big knot above my left knee. And so she took me to the doctor, and the doctor took an x-ray, and she came in the room with me and my parents and said, "This is bone cancer."
My disease is called osteosarcoma, and it's a bone cancer. It's very serious. If you don't catch it fast, it spreads.
We just all fell apart and started crying because I thought it was a death sentence. My dad found the St. Jude website online, and a few days later I was walking in the doors of St. Jude, and I spent a year there undergoing intensive chemo as well as surgery that ultimately saved my leg. And they put in this rod in my leg that had the technology to expand as I grew. Since they had to take out my growth plate with the surgery, this rod was able to grow without the need for additional surgery. And it ultimately saved me many surgeries and gave me so much more quality of life. But the year that I spent at St. Jude was the most important year of my life. And I knew from when I was 10 years old, when I was going through treatment, that I wanted to grow up and work at St. Jude.
Wow. Well, each passenger on the Inspiration 4 mission has a code name, right? What does that mean to you to represent hope on this mission?
When I found out my seat was the hope seat, it just felt so full circle, because hope is actually a word that I feel like has gotten me through a lot with my treatment. It was almost my mantra. Even after I finished my treatment, hope was just a word that sustained me. And I used to wear this necklace every day that said hope, and it just means so much to get to represent hope, because I feel like that's what St. Jude has given me. Whenever I was treated there as a kid, they just made it such a good experience. And going there, I thought cancer was a death sentence. And then whenever I went to St. Jude for treatment, they're the ones that actually gave me hope that I was going to get through this. And I think it's really this hope has sustained me. And now that I work at St. Jude, it's the same hope that I try to share with my families.
And I know through your daily work, you're very involved with the kids. What do you tell them? How do you channel your own experience to give them that hope?
I like to share my story, especially with the new kids. And I tell them that I know how overwhelmed they feel and how scared they feel, because I was in their shoes not too long ago. And I tell them that this experience is going to make them who they are, and it's going to make them tough. And then I always tell the mom that the two of them are going to be best friends after this.
You've been through some really tough times. In your darkest days, how did you find inspiration and the strength to keep believing?
It really came from St. Jude. And the employees treated me like family, and they just continued to reassure me that everything was going to be okay. And I got to make such incredible friends, friendships that have lasted a lifetime. I still talk to my friends that I went through treatment with. And so I think it was just the fact that St. Jude helped me keep this normal childhood, even though I was going through something big. I think that's where I got strength from feeling some sense of normalcy.
You mentioned earlier that you tell the kids and their moms they're going to be best friends. Did you get closer to your own family?
You're absolutely right that we are best friends. And it all started when I was going through treatment. We have been through a lot together, and she's always no matter what I've gone through, she's just been incredibly strong and someone I've really looked up to. And then my dad actually died from cancer 2.5 years ago. And she, again, was just this rock for our family. And so through the years, we really have been through a lot together, but we have a lot of fun together. And we travel together and we eat a lot of queso and guacamole together. And I attribute our close relationship to what we've been through.
That's fantastic. Were you always interested in space?
Yes, I came from a family that was just into space. And we actually visited NASA a few months before I was diagnosed with cancer. And I got to see where the astronauts trained. And of course, I think all kids and adults, when they see that, want to be astronauts. And so I was incredibly interested. And then a few months later, I was diagnosed with cancer. And since then, all I've ever wanted to is work at St. Jude. And honestly, I never thought I could be an astronaut because of the rod in my leg. Until now, astronauts have had to be physically perfect. But this mission is changing that.
Yeah, and I think you're inspiring so many others who want to go to space, so that's super exciting. You've been named the crew's chief medical officer. That sounds like a pretty important role. How will you train and get ready for that?
So I'll work really closely with our flight surgeon. And I have emergency experience. I worked in the emergency department for 3.5 years before I got my job at St. Jude. And so it'll just refreshing some skills and then just becoming really aware with the resources that we have on board.
And what other training will you do? Can you share with us anything?
So it all starts later this month. I am so excited. And the first thing that we're going to do is centrifuge training. Basically, we're gonna be in this machine that goes around really, really fast, like those amusement park rides. And then we're gonna get to our bodies used to feeling G forces. And then we're gonna go through a lot of simulator training, and we're actually gonna learn some orbital mechanics, like some rocket science behind all this, and spend some time in our flight suits, but just getting us ready for any possible situation. They're gonna make sure that we're really well prepared.
So once you get to space and you're in orbit, what will you be doing?
So we are going to do some research studies and that then like some projects, but the details are still being worked out.
Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and
We'll get to spend some time floating around and looking at the Earth. But like I said earlier, what I'm looking forward to the most is video chatting with the St. Jude kids. We're still working that out, but I just think it's going to be incredible to actually be able to show these kids what their future can look like.
So you are clearly excited, but you're not nervous at all?
Right now, and I think it's because I've gone to SpaceX 3 times. I have met all the lead engineers, and they really know what they're doing. They have an incredible safety record, and I think I'm gonna have some butterflies on launch day. But at this point, I'm just really excited.